So now that we've got the basic fundamental gameplay of our game in operation here, we're going to add some of the fundamentals of how the game can actually be managed, some of the almost administration of the game. And we're going to start out by creating the main menu. We created the main menu in the previous game that we made, but we're going to do something a little bit different on this one. So we're going to start off by making a new scene first of all. So we're going to create a new scene. Similar to what we've done before, we're going to change the background color to be a nice dark black to keep everything nice and consistent. And this time, instead of adding text to say the name of the game, we're going to add an image to show the name of the game in a little bit more of an interesting way than just a blank kind of standard bit of text. Okay, so to do that, first of all, going to go to Game Object up here and then UI, and we're going to add an image like this. And we need to zoom out nice and far so that we can actually see our full canvas size here. Then I'm going to click and drag this image here. And we're going to change where we have a source image here. We have an empty slot on the image because it just creates it as this default white image. But what we're going to use is, in our art folder, one of the files we dragged in was this little Brickbusters logo. So I'm going to pop that in there. And you'll see when we drag it in first on the UI, it just fills into the square shape that we created before, or that was created by default, shall we say, by Unity. And we obviously don't want that. So what we'll do is click this little button for preserve aspect, and it'll make it fit down in the right side or the right shape that it was originally brought into, but it'll fit itself into the box that's been created. But obviously that's a little bit too small still, so we're going to click and drag this and stretch it out so that it looks a little bit bigger on our screen. And then I'm going to center it into position here like this, and we're going to leave it so that it's anchored in the middle like it has been before. So we've got our big logo. I'll actually move it down a little bit and we'll make it even a bit bigger again. There we go, that looks fine. Now you'll notice that if we zoom in on it, it's kind of a little bit blurry looking. That's not really what we want in our game. This is a kind of a classic old school looking game, and this kind of blurry logo doesn't look so good. We want it to look more like solid pixels. So to fix that, we're going to go to the original art file. We're going to scroll down, and where it says filter mode here for bilinear, we're going to change that to be 0, and we're going to change the compression to be none, because we don't want this to be compressed at all. And we're going to change the max size as well while we're here. And like I said before, what we want to do is set the max size to be the minimum number above the longest edge of our thing. So the longest edge of this is 160. So we need to go and look here. So the next number above 160 on our list here is 256. So we'll go for that one and we'll hit apply, and we'll see our image gets automatically changed. So now it's a sharp image for us. Absolutely perfectly what we wanted to do. So perfect, we've got our little logo in place now. So let's go ahead and make the buttons that we're going to use. So we're going to go to our game object and add a new UI button. And this button, we're going to change the text on it to say start game. Nice and simple. And then we're going to duplicate this and click and drag it down here. And I'm going to have this bit of text say quit game. And those are going to be our only two options, because we don't have a single player and multiplayer as we did in the previous game. We're only going to use these two buttons like this. I'm going to drag this down a little bit lower. And we're not going to overcomplicate it by adding in any extra other things at all. So we've got our start game and our quit game. Obviously we don't have them actually doing anything at the moment, so we need to give them a script that will allow them to actually have some functionality, much like we did in our previous project. So we're going to go ahead and create a new C# script and create main menu script. We'll let that compile and open up in MonoDevelop here. Should take a second, or maybe it won't open for me. Nope, there we go, we've got it. Okay, so much like we did before, we'll need a string to tell us what the name of the level is that we're going to load. So the level we're going to load up will be public string first level. And we're going to have two functions then. And instead of start and update that we're not going to use at all, we're going to use a public void that we'll call new game. And we'll do a public void that we'll call quit game with a small a. So we'll write our quit game function first. We'll just say application dot quit. That's all we have to do. And that's how we can make our users be able to quit out of the game. And then up here, we're going to include our scene management so that we're able to load levels within Unity. So using Unity engine.scene management. And then in our new game function here, we're just going to say scene manager dot load scene first level. Perfect. We'll save that, and I will pop back in to Unity here. Let that compile for a second. And once that's done, we can go to our canvas. We're going to add the main menu script to that again. Oh, I spelled first level wrong, I just realized. That's not very helpful. So let's just go and check what is the name of our first level. We have it set as level 1. Oh, it's trying to use this originally spelled bad version there. We go back in here. So we have it spelled as level 1 here. So that means on our main menu script that is attached to our canvas, we want to make sure this is spelled as level 1. Perfect. So let's then grab our 2 buttons. We're going to add one function to both of the buttons, drag our canvas into the slot, and then set the function for each one to be the correct one. So for our start game, we want that to go to our main menu and then go to new game. And then on our quit game, we want it to go to main menu, quit game. Perfect, nice and straightforward. Now that we have all that set up, let's make sure we actually save our scene. So we're going to file, save scene as. We'll save this as the main menu scene. And now in order to be able to test this out, as we had to do before in the previous project, we need to make sure that Unity knows where to find these levels that we want to load. So we need to make sure and add them in to the build settings. So we have our scenes and build. At the moment there's nothing in there, so let's drag our main menu in first, and then we can put our level 1 in. And as we said before, the reason we put main menu first is so that this will be the first thing that gets loaded up by Unity when the game starts. Okay, so now we need to make sure we can test it. So let's hit the play button, wait for it to get going, and now we hit the start game and it'll load us into our first little level so we can play away to our heart's content. Perfect. But what if we're in the middle of playing our game, having our bits of fun, and we get distracted by something and we have to stop for a second? Well, at the moment we can't really do anything. We can't pause the game. We have to just try and either finish this level or just let ourselves die. So let's fix that up, and we're going to add a pause menu into our project. Konnichiwa.